Happy New Year, my creative friends. We made it to 2022. Let's all celebrate quietly. I am here today to share my WIP parade, and this will be all of my all of my WIPs that are carrying over from 2021 to 2022. I have decided to archive 4 of them, put them in timeout, if you will. I'll get to that in just a minute. But first, what I want to share 2 things that I didn't, well, one of them for sure I didn't share in my last video. You'll see that I got 50 finishes in 2021. If you want to see all of my finishes, or most of them from 2021, go ahead and check out my previous video. The one thing I couldn't remember what I had finished, the Love What's in My Cup by Stitching with the Housewives. This was the piece, and I put it into a project bag that I made. Can't believe I forgot that. But I think I was able to insert a picture of it. There it is. It is so cute. And what I have in here are just several of my Stitching with the Housewives patterns, especially anything to do with love and Valentine's Day. I've started separating out my patterns in a different way, but I had forgotten about this particular one, so I had it just, you know how you put things in a place where you won't lose them? Yeah. No, just me? Okay. The other one, I forgot that I finished it because I actually finished stitching this in 2020, but I FFO'd it, which is fully finished object. I FFO'd it in 2021, and this is So She Did by Lori Holt, and it hangs in my sewing room. I love that one. I just love it. Just simply finished it by putting it on a mat board. This actually has batting in it. Same with a piece of fabric, some batting, and another mat board that's about ½ an inch bigger on either side, I would guess, just by eyeballing it. And then I put it on this board. So this just hangs in my sewing room. So let's get to WIPs and stats. Wrote them all down, and then I found all of these mistakes. Trying to keep track of it. I like knowing where I ended one year and to begin another year, and to look back and to see, kind of just take a pause and see what I have accomplished. And I hope you do too. I have loved looking at other Flosstubers' WIP parades, and even those that are just like posting pictures on Instagram or Facebook, those as well. But I watch Flosstube while I stitch, so I have just thoroughly enjoyed so many of the Flosstubers out there sharing what they have worked on or what they have plans to work on in the new year. And I almost always find a new pattern I hadn't seen before, and at least one, usually way more than one, that I want to stitch myself. It's interesting to see the different fabric choices that people make, color changes they may make, or adaptations they make. It's just, I am here for the WIP parades, so I'm doing mine. I started 2021 with one WIP that was before 2020. Okay, so this was my oldest WIP. I still have it. I will share it in a minute. But just one from pre-2020. And before 2020, I was a monogamous stitcher. That changed drastically. But it also has kept me stitching motivated and finishing more. I'm also working on much smaller projects. Small medium is my happy spot. Into maybe large, but not really large, not full coverage, those of you who can do those patterns that have 4, 7, 8, 12 pages. I am in awe of you that you can stick with it and stay dedicated and do all those. I think I get bored too easily with my stitching, or I feel like I'm not accomplishing it, so it just is very defeating, and that's defeating the purpose of cross stitching, right? So I ended 2021 with one WIP that was before 2020. Now from 2020 and before, I carried on 21 WIPs. So basically I carried 20 WIPs from 2020 into 2021. Does that make sense? And then one from, 1998 or something. I don't know when I started stitching that bride's prayer. Okay, so I ended, this is the good part, I ended 21 only having 7 WIPs from before 2021. So I'm only carrying over, or I only had those left over. Of those 7, 4 of them are going into timeout. I'm going to kind of archive them. I'm putting them in the back of my cross stitch area. I will decide at the end of this year to either let it go, just let it go, or restart it, or I will have to add it into my WIP list for 2023. That's really looking far ahead. But it's going to be in timeout for basically a year unless something motivates me to pick it up for some reason. And then if by the end of 2022, I don't want to put it into like WIPGO for next year or no new starts for next year or whatever other WIP challenge I decide to join next year, I'm going to let it go. It needs to be one of those two things. It either needs to be worked on or it needs to be bye-bye. And I know some of you are really good at doing that. I am not. I feel like I've put time into it and it's hard to just let that go. But then I don't want to put more time into something I'm not loving and enjoying. Does that make sense? Hope it does. So I only really have 3 WIPs going forward into 2022 that are from 2020. Well, from 2020, because I'm not doing the before 2020. So that gets a little confusing, right? But it'll be okay. It'll work its way into this here. Now for 2021, I had 75 starts. That is more than one a week. I was a little bit shocked. Now, take into consideration that 17 of those starts were between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Yeah. So I started 17 things in that short little time period. So of those 75 starts, I also in 2021 had 50 finishes. 50. So if you take the 50 finishes and the 17 that were just added, the last month, that isn't too much left over, right? It's not too crazy. I had 13, maybe it is. I was pretty stoked when I saw that I had 50 finishes for 2021 because that's like almost one a week. And when you consider the last at least 5-6 weeks of the year, we were battling illness and recuperating strength. And then you go into Christmas with kind of being behind on all the regular life stuff. I didn't get a whole lot done. So that is incredible to me. So let's see, what is next? Did I already say this? That I had 13 FFOs. I thought I had 12, but I had 13. That's more than one a month. For 2021. My goal for 2022, I have decided, is to have 22. 22 FFOs for 22. Makes sense, right? Kind of a theme. It's not quite one a week. It's more than one a month. That's my goal. So in 2021, I had 23 WIPs left before Christmas. So at Christmas time, I had 23 WIPs from 2021, which would be, it's not adding the pre-2021. So I just realized I still actually have more I need to add into this because I had it wrong. But I had 23 2021 WIPs before Christmas. Get your coffee. It's confusing. Then, like I said, between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, I had 17 new starts. So that left me with 2020 WIPs that are going into 2022. I've got 40 WIPs from 2021. I have 50 finishes, mind you. Now I'm ending with 40 WIPs, plus the 3 from 2021. So I actually have 43 WIPs, 44 WIPs. I actually found a WIP that I hadn't written down when I was putting all this together. So these numbers are a little bit off, but it's close enough, right? So 41 WIPs from 2021, plus my 3 WIPs from 2020. I wrote down the wrong number. 3 WIPs from 2020, plus the 4 archived WIPs means I have 48 unfinished projects. That sounds like a lot. You put it that way, it's a little bit daunting. However, as you'll see towards the end of this, I'm going to talk about if I have the energy to, because we know if you watched my last video, I was fading by the end, and I'm feeling good right now, but the energy goes pretty quickly once I get to talking. So I will share what I'm doing for this year, but my goal is to try and do no new starts, at least until I have finishes. So I'll describe that as I get more towards the end. But that's one of my reasons for starting 17 things at the end of this year, was so that I could participate in the No New Starts Challenge. And my goal before we got COVID was to finish most, if not all, of the fall and start things along the way into that, but I just didn't have the energy to work very much on my WIPs. So I decided to just start all the things between Christmas and New Year's, and it's one of the reasons I didn't film this video. I thought in order to participate in that challenge and to keep honest, you know, that's a big thing with me. I want to be honest, and it's part of the rules, right? What good is it if you're not honest? I wanted to start all the things, and I wanted to share it in a video, so I've kind of got proof of where I started, or where I'm starting 2022, where I ended 2021. So let's get into it a little bit. Let me show you the things that are going into timeout. This is my oldest WIP. This is A Bride's Prayer by Paula Vaughn. This is one that I will either have to pick up by the end of this year, or I'll have to put it on my WIPGO board for next year, because I have put way too much into this and I'm way too close to finish to toss it. But I do want to put it in timeout. I want to take a break from it this year. It was on my WIPGO board a couple of times last year, and anytime I had all of my WIPs finished for WIPGO, I would go back to this one, and so she's going into timeout. Let me show you where she's at as she goes there. It has so many fractional stitches. You can see I'm on my last page. Oh, I just need the little girl is kneeling down. I've got the bedside table and then the bedspread and floor down below, the little cushion she's on. I've started on her face. I have back stitches I need to do. I think her hair is done or pretty close to it, except for back stitches. Yeah, so close. But I'm giving myself permission to just take a little break from this. And that's probably that is my biggest project. It's my oldest project. I don't even know when I started it. Definitely before we moved up to Washington, and we moved up to Washington in 2007. So she's old. The next one that's going into timeout, and really it's because I hate this stiff Ada. And this is called Peaceful Shores. Let me find the pattern. Ooh, I should take the needle minder though. This is Peaceful Shores. It's a kit that I got from, I think I might have even got it from Walmart, or Hobby Lobby. This is where I am at. And one of my reasons that I like going through the WIPGO, going through my WIPs is, you can see I have a needle in there. I just want to make sure that I'm moving the needle somewhere. You could just take it out because I'm not going to use it for a year, but this is the needle I was using. I'm moving it over to the corner where if I do decide to finish this, when I finish it, it will be, it'll be in a good spot that won't show. Like if it rusts through that will be covered. The edges of the project will be covered. Yeah. I remember thinking, oh, I can do this as a gift for my mom. And I'm like, oh, this is just, it's so, I have learned this year that if I do not enjoy the fabric, I am not going to want to stitch on it. It is worth investing in fabric that I like and love and want to work with. And over the course of the year, or the course of the last 2 years, really, I have found things that I do really enjoy stitching on, and I have found things that I don't, which leads me to the number 3 timeout. Yep, so 3 of my 4 timeouts are because I do not like the fabric. And with this one, it's the fabric with the floss I chose, because I chose some sulky, slick floss. It's not the kind, I don't think it's the kind that everybody else has been using. It's a metallic. But this is Singing in the Rain by Beverly McAuliffe. Yeah, from Flamingo Toes. And I did it with some sulky, like I said, sulky metallic thread. This is on a white linen. The holes are super big. Is part of the problem, and then the floss is super, super fine and slick, so it keeps falling out. It's very difficult to work with. It's not the fault of the pattern so much as the fault of my choices. So I'm pretty sure this one is just going bye-bye. If nothing else, I may, because it's got 3 rows, I might just finish that 3rd row and make something else with it, but I will not go on beyond that, which is kind of sad because I like the bottom rows. I may one day in the future decide to do this again on a different fabric with definitely different thread. I actually kind of like this fabric. It just needs to be with a thicker, maybe a cotton. This is, let me pull out so you can see. This is 100% rayon. And you can see the colors are me. I love the colors. And my last timeout. And yet, if you all have been following me, you probably are not surprised by the projects I am choosing to put into timeout. It's not because I don't love the projects. I just don't love the fabric, or in the case of a bride's prayer, it's just, it takes a lot more concentration than I typically want to give. This is, sorry, it's in the plastic. This is Snow Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. This for sure is going into timeout. I have hated stitching on this fabric. I love the way it looks, the fabric. I think the snow looks perfect on it. I hated stitching it. I started in the wrong place. And I wanted to do this whole thing on it. I'm like, there's just no way, because I am not enjoying it. I am dreading it. I went from being so excited to work on this to dreading it every time the WIPGO number was called. So that just told me this needs to go on timeout. I will probably, because I am very close, I will probably at some point later in this year or as a goal for next year, finish this one village and then turn it into an ornament or something. I still have several patterns. I wanted to do the whole series. I may restart it on a different fabric, but that's a decision for another day. So for right now, for 2022, that is in timeout. Now this one, I started, Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates was doing kind of an Advent stitch along. I barely started. I don't think I have a picture. Let me see. I think it's just the pattern. Oh no, I do. It's by Crochet A Go Go. It's the Advent calendar 2022. I started it and the colors are not really showing on here. The white isn't showing, and I wanted to do it as separate pieces in order to, I knew that was going to happen. I'll pick that in a minute. I wanted to do separate pieces like an ornaments. So I was trying to calculate it, and it's not set up to be separate. It's set up to do as all one piece. So it took some math, and you can see from here, you can't even really see the white. So I have decided that this one will be a restart. So in some ways, this is also a timeout. I never did count it as a WIP or something I started because I didn't even just that first day working on it. I'm like, this is just not going to work for me. And I think that was around the time that we got sick. And so just kind of put that one away. All right, let me pause and pick that up. All right, I am back with my 2020 WIPs that are carrying forward, onward and upward. So this is Votes for Women by the Nebby Needle in honor of the 100th year of women given the right, a constitutional right to vote here in the United States. And I did work on this for and I think I haven't worked on it since I think I showed this in my last actual Flosstube of 2021 because it was on my WIPGO board, I believe. So nothing has been done to it since then, but as part of my 2021 WIPs or WIP parade, I wanted to include that, of course. The next thing is Home for Christmas by Little Dove Designs. Oh, it's funny. So my WIPGO board consisted of things from 2020, which makes sense. And the things at the end that I didn't fully finish are the leftovers. I don't know why I just dawned on me, but that's true. So you saw this on my WIPGO board. Something to keep in mind next year. I might combine my WIPGO end of the year with my WIP parade. So that's what the pattern will look like. And again, I don't believe I've worked on this since I showed that in my video because I was really concentrating on starting all the things. I have the snowflake border done, part of the house done, and some of the little, well, the inner and outer blue border, and then I've started on the little hearts. It's a fun stitch. Here at our house, I don't know, what do you guys do when you take your Christmas stuff down? Because we tend to wait a full week after New Year's, do it the weekend after New Year's. So since New Year's started or fell on a Saturday, part of me wanted to just take it down on Sunday and have everything clean. But we put it up so late because we were sick over Thanksgiving and into December that really it's only been up for a week and a half before Christmas. So we'll keep it up another week before we tear it down. Plus, we had a lot of snow. So getting everything back out into the shed and the other side of the yard, the back side of our yard, didn't sound like a fun thing for anybody to do, much less carrying things in and out. So it'll stay up until next weekend. Maybe even a little bit longer. Or I will probably start taking some of the Christmas stuff down. But the tree is, the job for my husband. So it's kind of when he's motivated to do that, which usually when I get everything else done, he's like, okay, he takes it down. So my last WIP from 2020 is Quaker Snowflakes. This is one I really thought I could have done, but, life happened and then I started all the things. So here's Quaker Snowflakes, because I really was debating on just getting my WIPs down to like 22 WIPs, which would have been possible. It would have been difficult, but would have been possible to do the 22 and 22. But I wanted to start 2022 with some new, fresh things. And if I'm not going to start anything new or do any big new starts, like I guess I won't be doing Stitch Mania, or at least not in the same way, with new start every day. I definitely won't be doing that. I needed to have some WIPs in my storehouse. So this is Quaker Snowflakes. Sorry, that was a lot of talk. It was unnecessary. And this is where I am at. Same place I showed in my last video, but for posterity's sake, here we go. Still need to finish the border. I actually went and pulled some colors for the bottom. Do I have? Yeah. Where did they go? So I was looking through like the Bee Stitch Me and came across this. think I'm going to switch out the flower to this, which is a little bit brighter pink, and then I will do the cardinal in this red. And I will do possibly, because that'll make this look really, really brown. So I may do the trunk of the trees in this brown. And I'm debating on not doing the glad tidings at the bottom, just because if I take out the glad tidings, it really can go through January, but you put glad tidings and because it's a really a wintry piece other than that. So I don't know. We'll see when I get to that. This is on the back burner. So that was my 2020 WIPs. My son just got home, so I'm going to pause it again, and I'll be right back when he gets in through the door. So now I get to move into 2021 WIPs. This is just my type. It's in my Goose Designs bag. This is from It's So Emma. I am excited to work on this and have it done in February. So that's where I'm at. You can see I have, with this I've done outlining, and I put it away at some point, but I did outlining so then I could take this as my travel piece and I would just have to fill in. And so I don't have to pay attention to the stitches or the pattern or the count. I can just start going and doing it. So that's just my type. The next one is in a bag that I made, Cross Stitch Nation. Uh-oh, kind of stuck to the vinyl. This is by Heartstring Samplery. I am changing the colors as I go, which makes it take a little bit longer. I also think this is on 32 count, and I'm doing 1/2, which was a little bit new for me, and it's not as fast for me because I now do the sewing method. I actually have 2 needles in here. So this is where I'm at. The top border is done. I belong to the cross. This is definitely coming out soon because it's in one of the challenges over the next month. So I will be stitching on those ladies soon, or rather than later. I've already thought, I don't know if I'll keep this, if I will remember, but I just had this thought, instead of starting all the things in May, maybe what I'll do is stitch all of the Stitchy WIPs in May. So it can be a Stitchy May. The next one I have is Serendipity. This is by Fat Quarter Shop. And I have again changed all the colors, or just about all the colors. And I love this piece. It is on a very tight Ada from Bestitch Me. Isn't it a gorgeous? I mean, I just love that. Love that. But 1/1 on Ada is, again, not easy. It's very tight. And I think it's because this, I mean, it may be a 16 count, but I think it might be an 18 count. It's that tight. It's just a little bit slow going, and I need good lighting. And I keep pulling out other things, even though I want to work on this. This would be something that if I would just commit to doing it like a daily thing, it could get done, but I finished 50 things, right? What's next? This may be a little bit out of order. I think this is Spring Garland. Yes. By Madame Chantilly. And I am doing the wreath. There's also this little bird that's separate you can do. I think I'm doing some of the called for colors. don't know if I'm doing all called for colors, if I might be changing them up just a little bit because you want it to show up on this fabric. And you can see the S, the spring, doesn't really show up all that well, so I don't know. I think it'll be okay though, even if the lettering didn't show up. This is just it's a lovely piece. This is one, anything that's on linen is going to be a little bit slower for me. It's going to take me longer to complete. And I'm okay with that. I really am. I wish I could stitch faster, but there are some pieces that are worth spending a little more time on and that are kind of special and precious. And that's kind of what I'm deciding going forward. If it's something that's just a fun stitch and should be a fast stitch, go ahead and do it on Aida. If it's something that I really like, but I want to enjoy doing it and get it done in a timely fashion, Lugana or some kind of even weave. And then some of the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe more heritage pieces or things that are a little more old-fashioned, if I say that. Those might be more of the ones on linen. So anyways, the next one, this is fresh cut. This was my travel piece, and I obviously did not, it was a travel piece often in 2021, and I obviously did not travel enough or had to stop, and I didn't ride along enough. So this is another one. This should be done. This should be done. But it's not. So this is where I'm at. I had to stop mid-thread. So this one's still coming out here, but the needle's up here. So this is where I'm at. This is, did I say this is an It's So Emma? This was a stitch quarter, oops. This was stitch quarterly. So what I have left to do is, because the basket's done. So the basket's done. I just have these flowers and this down here, and then another row of tulips. I could actually just do the flowers on either. I could actually just do those flowers on either side and call that good, and not do this bottom portion. Maybe I'll do that just to have it done. Are you bored yet? I hope not. I still got a lot to go. Hope you have something good to work on. The next thing, this is out of order. Oh, the next thing is Pink Barn. I'll be showing that towards the end. This is Celebrate Spring, another one by Madame Chantilly. Another one that I tried to do 1/2. So it's beautiful. It's small, or is it 1/1? It might be 1/1. It's so tiny and dainty. It's going to take me forever to do this. I think I did have to do 1/1 because I didn't have a big enough piece at the time I started this, and in order to make it fit. Some of my decisions were not the best decisions. So that was Celebrate Spring. Flea Market. Oh, Sail Away. This one was a mystery stitch along. Yeah, I do have the picture. So this is what it will look like when it is done. This one had better be a finish at some point in 2022. I've got the rest of the lighthouse, and I've got the boat and this part over here, but it's well underway. This is a good project to kind of take with me too when I do outlining. So I probably should just outline some of those areas of the lighthouse, and then I can just go in and fill in either when I'm traveling or if I'm watching something where I actually want to watch what is on TV instead of just kind of listening to the background noise. The next thing is Flea Market Flowers. I think that's upside down. This is from Lori Holt. And I'm using a few of the colors that are called for. Mostly I'm doing a color conversion. Ouch. I like to stitch in season. So one of the things you'll see is if I don't finish something in season, it tends to wait to the next season and I will get it done. It'll be my kind of my top priority when the next season comes along. So that's more of a spring into summer piece. And so when the fall hit, I just wasn't getting a lot done on that. So it'll come back out again this spring and make some more progress on it. The next one is A Day at the Beach, and this can come out anytime I feel like being at the beach, but it is more of a summer project. And this is by Country Cottage Needleworks. So part of my plan going forward is to have things in season, have the season that I'm working on done or almost done, and not carry too many of those WIPs forward in 2022, so much as getting the ones that I had already started completed before starting anything new in that season. So this is Beach House. This is, you can see I love the beach. This is going to be another one I'm just going to absolutely love. And I did get some more beach projects at the end of the summer. You guys gave me some great suggestions. I have ordered them. Some of them have been kitted up, ready to start when I get some of these other WIPs out of the way. So it's another reason I really want to get, like right now, I want to get my winter stuff done, get a little bit further on my Christmas, and then pull the Christmas out again next Christmas. So what is up next? Liberty Inn. We are deep in the heart of summer here. This one I stalled on because this is stitched in Garden Gate, and you can't, from Gentle Arts, you can't find Garden Gate anywhere. So before I went any further, I was kind of waiting to see if a new Garden Gate would come in. And since it still hasn't, when I decide to pick this one up again, if it still hasn't come in, I will do because I think the roof is in a different color, or in that color. Something else big is in that color. Even the window sills, I might take that one out, or the window frames, and do it in a different color. So can you see that? I'm sorry, it's so wrinkly and it got dark in here because now it's rainy, snowing again. I've started on the house. I've got all of the fence gate done and the bunting on it. But like I said, I wanted to do the roof all the way across, and I don't have the roof. I don't have that color. So I think the dyer used a dye that they couldn't get, and it wasn't coming out the same way. So it may be something they won't, it may even end up being discontinued. I hope not. And I wish, like I said before, I wish I had known, because I would have done the fence and wrought iron and done the roof in the Garden Gate, because it has a little bit of brown to it, but whatevs. This is Michael's Prayer. This I started on September 11th as my September 11th start. And I can't even remember how far I got. This is where I am at. Now that I'm down into the letters started going really quickly. This is a very easy, fun stitch. So I'm looking forward to this coming out again this summer. My guess would be Memorial Day. My guess would be not before Memorial Day, unless there's a specific challenge that might call for. The next one is Let Joy In, Autumn Gatherings, from my friend Stitch virtual retreat I attended with Heart in Hand and Bent Creek, I believe. Yes. So this again, this did not get touched after I got sick, so it's in the same place the last time we saw it. This could use, here. Sorry, I didn't iron all these, but I figured it was better to get the WIP parade at least started than it was to have everything all nice and pretty. I may be wrong. I think you get the gist, and you will see it again. Well, maybe in the fall. I plan on it being in the fall. Gotta take turns. This is a project bag I made, a little bit oversized. I am so motivated to make project bags. You guys, I found some new people to watch, some new channels to watch, and one of them was showing a bunch of different project bags, and I've already been wanting and itching and just really wanting to get project bags. I need them. I need them. I've got a lot of WIPs going forward. So that is a new motivation as well. I think I'd like to get back into the sewing room at least once a week in 2022. So this is Autumn Beauties. This was another mystery stitch along that has been fully released now by Fat Quarter Shop. And I used all of the called for colors. I have another, I don't think I shared this with you. This is Pumpkin Patch by Shannon Christine Designs. So this, once I finish with Autumn Beauties, this is the next one I want to start with the same, it has similar colors. So I just stuck that pattern in here. Autumn Beauties. So close. I mean, it's halfway done, but this half is not as heavily, it doesn't have quite as many stitches as this half does. So this half should go much quicker, I hope. Oh, my other son is home. I think I can get one more in before he walks in. I'm making a mess. Oh, and I haven't shared these with you because we got sick. So you haven't seen the progress on these. I just realized. This is called Autumn Leaves by Cherry Hill Stitchery. I think I'm using her called for colors, but I may have had to change a couple that didn't show up. I'm not sure, but I think I'm using hers. And this is where I got to on that one. Okay, I'll be right back. Pretty sure I'm going to end up having to continue tomorrow because the next one to be home with my husband, and it'll be time for me to finish up making dinner. Let's see. This is Pumpkin Patch. This is in a bag that I made. And the dogs are awake. And you would hope that my sons would get them out and let them go roam, but you never know. This is, what did I say? Pumpkin Patch by Primrose Cottage Stitches. So close. I'm kind of excited for next fall because so many things are so close. It's going to be like a finish, finish, finish. If I don't pull them out sooner, which I don't think I will, but you never know. Because it's so close, I just need to finish the ground and fill in the truck. And Scarecrow needs some clothes. He's got pants, but his shirt is missing. I think there's another corn stalk over here too. So, Pumpkin Patch. I just love this little truck needle minder. I should look for another one, have a second one, because I do have a couple of projects with trucks in them. Next, the Gather In. I love fall so much. I was so sad when I was too weak and too fatigued to stitch, because man, and I like to just do it in season. So this is the Gather In by Plum Street Samplers. Let's see if I've done any more since I last showed it. I don't think I have. There we go. Love it. Just too many good things going on. Huh. The only problem, or one of the problems with having this mini WIPs, is that it does tie up my floss, and I have to go looking for it sometimes, and I'm like, oh, what project is it in? And I'm looking and looking, and then if I take it out, I have to remember where I took it out from. And I've thought about just keeping the floss that I'm working on in kind of a separate spot, but just easily accessible. But then I like them being in the project bag, so I know. Serious problems, right? The good thing about stitching in season is that they all are similar. They tend to be similar colors, so I can kind of keep those together and work them in between those. So this one is another Plum Street Samplers. I love Plum Street Samplers. I have discovered in the past year or so. Paulette Stewart. This is Good Company. That fox wants to focus on my nails. I love stitching on this because the fabric was so easy to stitch with. Here's where I ended up with that one. It's silly. It's making me kind of sad putting all this fall away, knowing that it probably won't come out until next fall. Which is silly because I can pull out anytime I want. Okay. This is Be Thankful by Country Cottage Needleworks. If you can hear that, Lacey's whining because Tyler is going in and out with the groceries that he bought, because it's the first time in over a week that he's been able to drive his car. My husband had been driving him to work in the truck because they work about a block from each other. My husband, though, had to go in an hour and a half early in order to do that because my son starts a lot earlier than my husband. So this is what I have on that. I know I made progress on it since the last time I shared it. So it is going bye-bye, but it will come out again. It will come out again and play. Maybe I'll do like a mid-year or an August. I did August WIPs because that would really motivate me to get a lot of stuff done, I think, in the fall. Oh, whoops. I'll put this in here. My next thing, actually, I need to flip the page. Okay, Be Thankful. A Tasket. This is by Blackbird Designs. It's in the Honeysuckle Manor book. Let's see if I can share a picture without. You can kind of see there. That's what it will be. Look at this cute little honeybee needle minder. So here's where I am on this one. Oh, let me pull this board up again. Beautiful. Just beautiful. So my plan, if they still do, well, even if they don't, I might, but if Brenda and the Serial Starter are still doing the Blackbird BBD weekend stitch along the first weekend of the month, I will continue to work on that the first weekend, or continue to work on my Blackbirds the first weekend. Sorry, got a hair in my eye. The next one is Do What You Love by Jeanette Douglas. Actually, it's called Let's Do What We Love. I keep changing the name. I saw it when this came out. I'm like, oh yes, I want to do that. The colors are different in person than they are in the picture. And I might change even a few more to have it be more my colors. I think too, I need to cut this down so I can use this fabric for something else. But another goal for 2022 for me will be, because like I said, I discovered I do like seasonal stitching in season. So I also want to have some WIPs that are going year round and make sure that I touch those and get them done, because I do like having, like this is a beach theme. I don't need to just stitch the beach in the summer to have things that go in this room. The other thing is I love, well, cross stitching and quilting, and so I do have some stitching projects going on in progress. All right, I'm gonna have to take another break. My next project is in this Goose Designs bag that I got for Christmas. So I'm gonna take everything out and show you the inside of it. So for Christmas, I ordered myself 3 new project bags from Goose Designs. Yes, I know I want to sew more, but in the meantime, this is so pretty. This is, it has the trucks with the roses and the flowers in it. It's kind of her Valentine bag. So if you're watching this in real time, Goose Designs on Etsy, Denise. Oh, here we go. So this is currently in her shop if she hasn't sold out. Yeah, cute. And I got the Project Pal to go with it. It has a little heart snap. It has a felt heart in the center. I think that's felt. You can put your needle in, and then this you can put your floss ring on the little ribbon. Love it. Love it, Denise. So let me put all of my flosses back in here. Ooh, ooh. What I put in here, special bag, special project, oops. Counting is Hard from Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell. I just love this one. So like I said, I wanted to have projects going that incorporated the love of the things that I love to do. Make sure I don't lose any of those flosses. And I have a huge start on this one. You ready for it? Okay, it's not a huge start. But it is started, and it's on her fabric. This is called Sparrow. It's 28 count Lugana. So she will occasionally dye her own fabric and offer it on her website. You want to get on her newsletter list because it goes super quick. Like if you're not watching your email and you go to get it, it might be gone. You should see the pile. I should take a picture of the pile here. Last one in this basket, and then I have 2 more baskets to go. I'm gonna have to take a break. I am getting a little tired, and like I said, my husband's now home, so he hasn't walked in the door yet, but he is here. So this is another Plum Street Samplers. I think I told you I love it. Them or her. It's Paulette Stewart is the one who designed this. It's called A Country Winter, and what I love is that barn quilt on the barn, as well as the deer and the sheep and the snow and the little snowman, and the fact that it has a little bit of that pink to it. I just love it. I spent a lot of time trying to decide which color to put this on. And I went back and forth and ended up deciding on Over the Moon by Color and Cotton. There were 3 different Color and Cottons that I really liked. So what I ended up doing, I'll show you right there, is I stitched out the white or the lighter color on it just to see which one would pop the most. I think it's like this. There's another one where the white popped just a little bit more, but the greens in it looked brown, whereas on here it looked green, and so I decided to go with this one, and that's my start so far. This is a winter piece, so it'll be a really easy one to pull out this winter and work on. It appears we are going to have a snowy winter. It has been so far. In fact, it did start snowing a bit while I was filming, and then it stopped. I don't think it's doing anything right now. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, clean all this up, and go on to the last bit that I have for you, and that includes sharing plans for 2022. I'll be right back. A lot of what you're seeing from here on out, not all, but a lot, is going to be what I started between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I don't know exactly when I started this, and it wasn't even on my WIPGO list or my WIP list, so I had to go add it in. I hadn't put it in my books, and I don't have a picture because it's just a little freebie, but it is, so it's only the pattern. Quick little. It is called Joy by the Nebby Needle. And you just kind of choose your own colors. So look up the Nebby Needle, Nebbyneedle, and see if you can find it. It's called Joy. And so I did it with, I'll show you the colors, with this room in mind, because I'd like to get just a little small tree and have it in here. So these are the colors. Love them. They are Razzleberry by Classic Colorworks, Sea Green by Bestitch Me, Hunter and Forest, both by Color and Cotton, and then Sophia's Pink by Weeks Dye Works. And here is my baby start. Was actually working on it was I working on this one last night? I may have been working on this one. I don't think so. Anyways, sorry. I have the J, and I've started on the wreath. So the O is made out of a wreath. This is a cute little, sweet little stitch. I have high hopes to have lots of ornaments next year on my trees. This is, okay, there's 2 things in here. One of them I can't show you because all it is, again, is the chart, but it's a freebie. It's called We Are Family by Stitching with the Housewives. So go to Priscilla's 2000.blogspot.com, I think. And it's on her blog. So this chart she did in honor of her daughter Chelsea's birthday. And I am doing my own colors. Similar to what they have, but just I didn't have, or I couldn't find, I have it in a project somewhere, couldn't find Really Tealy, and I couldn't find Clay Pot, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna change it up with some of what I have. And this is my start so far. I'm going to show you this bag. This is all the colors. I'm using the same colors in this. This isn't even all the colors, but I'm using the same colors in this as I am in my next project. And so I have these 2 in a bag together in a very small bag. This is one of the things I need to get some more project bags. But that is We Are Family. And then the next one, because I'm using the same seafoam, aqua, green, mint colors. This is Whip It Good by Heartstring Samplery. This has been on my to-stitch list for a long time. I love it. I kept going back and forth on which colors, and finally, especially after Color and Cotton commented on my Instagram page that they saw this going into my monthly fabric. They're like, oh, Heather's gonna love this. Yes, Heather loves this. This is Neptune by Color and Cotton, and I'm using Dinky Dyes. I think what I had decided on, these are extra. That's why those are in there, in case it takes more than one strand. It's not, I think it's Gum Leaves. Let's see, where are you? Where are you, Gum Leaves? Oh, you're still in there. I know Ocean Pines is the other. So, nope. I am, well, here's the full strand. I can't find the other one. Gum Leaves is the color I decided on. And then I think I'm going to do Whip It Good in the center in this Ocean Pines color. So, and I wrote top on there because I knew that I wouldn't be able to, oh, it's washed out. It, you know, it's my colors. But that's what I have so far. Just a very tiny start on it. Excited for when that comes out again. I don't know why I'm looking at my list. It's probably not going to be together. Okay, speaking of together, this is Stronger Together. This was a fundraiser that Fat Quarter Shop did last year, asking for donations to UNCF. I did the Stronger Together bonus chart. I'm looking for a picture. Okay, I'm not seeing a picture. Is it on this? Nope. Well, I don't know what happened to the picture. Oh, here we go. So I already did this one. I'm now doing this one. I am changing the colors to colors that I have. Definitely doing a navy blue. I think this is the start, like this. This is on the Aqua Hand Dyed Effect. So the same one I had the Stronger Together done on, I'm going to do this one on. So yep, my energy is low. My throat hurts. I'm still having fun. I forgot to put the pattern in there. That is very helpful, isn't it? Being organized works if you stay on top of being organized, but it's very easy, especially when filming these videos, to just kind of throw everything down, and then afterwards I'm like, where is everything? Little notes to myself of DMC I need to order. This is Flora Graphica by Jan Hicks Creates. You can get it through her shops. I think Fat Quarter Shop might sell this as well. She has an Etsy shop you can order through, and other things. I will be, and already have, changed some of the colors just to fit my color palette a little bit better. But I tried to do it on a fabric that I thought kind of matched her fabric, so it would still have some of the same feel to it, but just more my colors. This is missing the tag. There it is. It's 28 count succulent from Lugana, from 28 count Lugana. The color's succulent from Color and Cotton. And this is what I have so far. Just a little bit in the corner. There'll be plenty of this fabric left over too. You know, one of the funnest things was pulling out all this fabric that I've gotten from, especially Color and Cotton, and some from Be Stitch Me, but just pulling them out and figuring out which fabric would be best with the flosses that I had, because what I had been doing is just gathering the flosses for each pattern and putting it in with the pattern, and then I had all these that just needed fabric to go with it. I had been keeping the fabric with it as well, so it's kind of all kitted up, and then I realized, well, then I had all this fabric and floss tied up, and I might not start that right away, so I've started just trying to get the floss in there and then matching up the fabrics as I get ready and pulling from my fabric of the month clubs that I'm in. All right, next. Love this. This is Winter Fling from Lulu Stitches. This is on a piece of fabric flare in a mystery color because it didn't have the thing on it. I just have a little bit of that border started. It's definitely one of those dyed effect ones. I just don't know which one. And I think it's 28 count, but it could also be 32. I think it's 28. And I need, because it's not fitting back in here, I definitely need a project bag for this. Are you sensing a theme? We're running low on project bags. And again, use what you have, right? This is Jolly Jingle Joy from Luminous Fiber Arts. Let me take a drink. I'm using the called for colors. I'm pretty sure, at least so far I am. It's on Harvest Moon 28 count Lugana from Color and Cotton. And basically I have a little bit of the border started. Like I said, I was starting all the things so that I would have them at least started for the No New Starts challenge, No New Starts 2022 challenge. You have to have 200 stitches in for it to be considered a WIP. So not all of these have 200 stitches yet. So before I put them on my board, I need to get 200 stitches in them, but at least they're started. This one, I decided to start another Blackbird Designs so I can continue doing BBD weekend stitch along all year with different projects to pull in. This is Basket of Cherries. I love this one so much. And this, I ordered a Color and Cotton grab bag. It was an Ada grab bag, I think 16 count. And I was a little bit nervous. I don't necessarily do a lot of Ada 16 count anymore. I don't do Ada much anymore, but it was Color and Cotton, so I took a chance. I love, love, love the 3 pieces I got. This is one of them. Excuse me. It does not have a name, so I don't know what it's called, but I did go immediately to the website and see if they have any more grab bags. Nope, they're sold out right now, but you can get on the Notify Me, and I'm on the Notify Me for all the different types they have, because I figure I love Color and Cotton so much that there's very few colors that I don't really like and can't use, and if I ended up with one of those in a grab bag, I would just give it away. And it's not because of Color and Cotton, it's just my own preference. And even the colors that I don't love, that tend to be more fall colors, I love them for the fall pieces, so I end up using them for fall. Need another project bag. Okay, this is Nantucket Sewing Set. This is from Stacy Nash Primitives. I need to look up the information on this because I got this when Stephanie Schaefer of Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph Just Keep Stitching, she got this as a smalls exchange, I think during StitchCon, and she shared hers and the color conversion of the blue. So I went out and got I found the fabric, or not the fabric, I found the pattern, and then I found or ordered the floss. It's Deep Sea from XJU Designs. So I have wanted to start, keep wanting to start. There's always something else to start. And I decided this has got to be one of the things I start in 2021. And eventually I'd like to do all 3. So I might just keep it on this and do it as a big project, or I might split it up into different smalls for my 2022 No New Starts. And I think I counted to be sure I had 22 stitches, but 200 stitches, but I'm not sure. It's on 32 count winter white Lugana from Seraphim. I am also loving the Seraphim. I'm not sure which, I think it goes like this. Got some of the rope and put in some of the blue on the anchor. Not a huge start, but a start. Again, this deserves a much better project bag than this. I can do better than this, Heather. This is so I would have some more spring things in there. Also, it could be done outside of spring. Uh-oh. Hope I didn't need to see what that said. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Do not copy your scan. A piece of tape got stuck to it. This is Spring Doxology from Rabbit Valley Studio. It's my first one of theirs. Susan O'Brien. So, love this. Reminds me of my uncle's sheep. I am stitching it on 14 count Ada. The color is Opal from Picture This Plus. And I barely have a start, but I do have a start. Pretty sure this was a New Year's Eve start. If it doesn't have hardly any stitches, it was probably a New Year's Eve start. Or Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day start, because I started a few things on those 2 days. But not a lot of time to stitch because, you know, Christmas. February, A Year in Chalk. I showed my January Let It Snow in my last video, so I wanted to go ahead and start the February. I think those are the only 2 ones I have of this series. I am doing it again on the 14 count chalkboard Ada that I got, because that's what Kimberly Jolly of Stitching with the Housewife stitches on, but I have trouble with this. Trouble seeing it, and it's also really, really stiff, so I find that my thread gets mangled and my needles don't last very long, but that's what I did the January one in, so I decided to do the February one. Now, maybe I just need to put this underneath on my lap, because I can see through that pretty easily. But my laptop, I usually have my laptop in my lap watching videos, or I've got the lap pad with the laptop on the table, but I'll have the lap pad on me, and it's also black, and so it's really hard to see through and see the holes. So just a small start on that one, but I wanted to get it started. I'd like to have some February. I love February hearts. Okay, so this bag is done. I have one more box. It is my start for 2022 and the No New Starts road trip challenge. Let me grab that, get it ready to go, and I will share what that is all about. I'm starting to feel a bit excessive, but this is my last box. Oh, okay. So what order should we do this in? Let me talk a little bit about my plans for 2022. So I've mentioned it throughout this video. I am doing the No New Starts 2022 on Facebook. It's now closed. They opened it up in December for people to join. I think it was November or December for people to join. And then they closed it by December 31st. You had to have your albums up. And so they also had a 2022 No New Starts road trip, which it's a virtual thing. It's based on how many stitches you do and stitching certain things. But it's camping. It's basically a camping trip around the U.S. visiting L&S's, local needleworks shops. So it's kind of just a fun little twist and a fun little challenge to get more stitches in and more stitches done. So I have joined it. There are 3 different levels. I'm not totally understanding it, but I am trying to grasp it and not do the wrong thing. And I'll share throughout the years I learn more, so that if it's something that, I don't know, sounds interesting to you, you'll be able to join up by next year if I'm still in it. And the main thing is you can't start anything new. There are a couple of caveats. So the top level would be the no new start. You only work on things that you had started in 2021 or before. Nothing new for 2022. I'm getting tired and loopy. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. So I thought I would drop out, but then as I read more, there's other options. One of the biggest reasons it wouldn't work for me is I could see myself possibly finishing everything because I've gotten faster and faster the more I stitch. The other thing is I have series of things that I want to stitch. Excuse me, had to do a little cough break. So the other reason is I have series of things that I want to do. In their rules, guidelines, whatever, you can work on a series, but it all has to be on one piece of fabric. In a piece of fabric is a starter, is a WIP. And so I have like the calendar crates and the sampler of the month where I've already started and I'm well into the series, and each series is on a different piece of fabric and different fabric colors that I'm using. And I didn't want to just put that on hold for a year, nor did I want to try and fit those in and stitch them, which I guess I could have started. I didn't. But like the calendar crates, they haven't all even been released yet. So so I opted for option number 2, which is 22 and 22. You can have no more than 22 WIPs going at any one time. The only way you can start something new is to finish a WIP on your board, and then it has to be the same size WIP or smaller. So in the case of my calendar crates, I'm working on my January calendar crates. When that's done, I can start my February calendar crates. And so that's the one that seemed to work best for me. Other than the series that I have going along, I don't plan on having any other new starts for a while, even though I'm allowed to put them in there. I think I really wanted, that's why I started all those WIPs, to have so many different things to pull from. So I really want to get this WIP pile down. I've got a lot of stitches that I am so excited to stitch on. One of the hardest things about starting all of these things last week was to not just keep stitching on them, because I was loving them so much. I am loving so far my color choices, my fabric choices. It's gotten really dark in here. Sorry about that. It gets dark at 4:30 now, so it's getting dark outside too. So that's my plan. What I have here are my my 7 starts for the No New Starts challenge, as well as the No New Starts road trip. Sorry again. Plus this one, I've asked a question because I don't quite know how this will work. Each project has a size. I can tell I've been going too long. My voice is going and I am coughing, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll be seamless on your side. So this is I'm not sure if this is too small to count or what to do with this. It is the 12 days of Stitchy ornaments. Erica Arndt put it out on her she had it on her Flosstube channel, I think on her blog or website or whatever. You could get the pattern. It was free. I'm not sure if it's still free. It probably is, but I can't guarantee that. Oh, no, wait. The patterns weren't free. She had the first one was free. So let me pull this out. Okay, so she had a Flosstube video that showed kind of a series on how to cross stitch. She does a lot of sewing. I hope that's showing. I can't see. Yeah, I hope that's showing. So she showed like a beginner series on how to cross stitch and how to finish it. So this was the freebie, and then she had these ornaments you could purchase. So I went ahead and I cut all of my fabric. I started this. I think I have 6 done, and I've started on the 7th. And there'll be 13 total because I also have that freebie. So I've got the 12 plus the 1. So I'm about halfway through the series. I cut all of the fabric pieces before I started so I could find the middle and be able to finish them with the hoops like this for ornaments. And I'm doing it, and I'm changing the colors a little bit to kind of go with my room here. Pull that out. And so I asked the question on the group because they're very small. They're 28 by 28. I'm halfway through the series. I don't necessarily want to claim each one, but I'm not quite sure how that works with the No New Starts challenge. I think I might have to have a slot for this, which will end up just being a small slot when these are done, because it only takes me, you know, an hour at night or something, or 2 hours at most to do these distracted stitching, each of these ornaments. And again, this would have been done, but I switched over to starting all the things. I have it in another one of my Christmas gifts. This is the Goose Designs bag. Love all of the snowmen. Isn't that perfect? And I did get a matching pal. There's a little snowflake on this snap. Anything with a cardinal. I'm here for the cardinals and the snowflakes. And you can see it holds the thread. Putting the patterns and the patterns and the floss back in here so I don't lose them, hopefully. Now, Fat Quarter Shop also, the Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube also did a video where they showed how they finished theirs, and they changed their colors. They were using, I'll talk about it in my next video because I can't remember right now. They're using a floss pack from one of their other patterns that they had offered, and I had that, and it went really well with my colors for this room, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this will be finished and put on the tree in this room, as well as that joy that I started. So this is the one that I'm partway through. This is one of the trees. This is an ornament. I think originally she had it charted as red, or red and pink, or red and white, and I have mine obviously in that turquoise. This is a quilt star. Love it. Candy cane, which I messed up on, but I'm not going to tell you how because it's done and it's good. This might have been the one I started on. This is either my first or second one because I love the jar. So it's a snowy tree in a jar. Excuse me. This one, isn't that sweet, with the little candy canes hanging down. And then a little cup of tea. So that's what I have so far. I've got the rest of them cut already. Like I said, if it was all on one piece, if I had known about that before I started doing this, or before I had cut it up, I may have done something different. I wasn't quite understanding. And they're all on separate pieces, so I just don't know how, or if it even counts, because it's less than 50 stitches. By the way they calculate it, it will be calculated as 28 stitches, which is like smaller than small. Waiting to hear back from them before I finish that. So right now I have 7, but if I need to include that, that'll be 8. Okay, so what else do I have on my list? The first thing is Glitter House. Now I finished Glitter House 1. I told you I'd share in my last video. I told you I'd share what I had done. And I have started on Glitter House 2. So here's 2. And you'll see 1 on this piece. This counts as 1 piece because it's a series. It goes together and it's all on 1 piece of fabric. It's just a very small start on number 2, but here's number 1. I'm excited to see this one done. That was my other reason for putting Snow Village into timeout. This is by Country Cottage Needleworks. I don't know if I said that. It's a whole glitter village, and I decided I'll just do Glitter Village before Snow Village. Because I do love that, and I have enjoyed it a lot. And the other one, not so much. My second one is also a series. So I thought this would be a good one because I do want to work on both of these kind of all year long. That's why I decided to include them in my 22. It is Rose Farm by Shannon Christine Designs. I am working on the pink barn section. So for me, I'm going to count a finish as I finish each section or each pattern like I have before. That's kind of what I consider a finish. But for the challenge, it won't be considered finished until I get the entire thing done. So the frame was something that I did in, I think, WIPGO last year. And I started on the pink barn, and this is where I ended 2021. Put back here so you can kind of see. It's hard to see in this light with the shadows and the wrinkles in my fabric, but got quite a bit of progress on that barn done. But once that barn is done, I still have 3 more sections down below to do. And really, this top barn is the biggest section. It's got 3 sections into one. So even when I have the barn done, I've got both sides of that pattern to do. The next thing, this is in a bag from Fiddle Feathers. I love this bag. She is on Etsy. It came wrapped so sweetly in this black baker's twine with a button. Which I will definitely be using on something else. I was able to, it's kind of got this stripe ticking on the back, and I was able to customize it to say comfort and joy. So you can customize it. At least it's kind of shiny. Can you see that metallic? So pretty. And then it has this cute little pull with the fabric and beads and a charm. So this was by Fiddle Feathers. Let me see. It's just called fiddlefeathers.etsy.com. And this is a Rae Dunn inspired bag. Love it. So pretty. It came with a little note. Oh, see, I kept this so that I could share it with you. With, as a thank you note, with the floss drops, which I didn't yet use because I wanted to share it with you guys. Just a sweet, she included, oops, oh, it's gone. This was something I got before Christmas to put my Christmas stitching in, but between my last 2 floss tubes. all of the floss. I might be doing some conversions. I'm not sure. Project. All right, this is what you're waiting for. Early Christmas Morning by Blackbird Designs. I think this was my Christmas or Christmas Eve or Christmas Day start. And this is on a piece of Eggnog, 32 count Lugana from Color and Cotton. Eggnog, isn't that perfect? It is the perfect color. I am loving it. I have decided instead of, here's the back cover, instead of doing this as a, I don't know what this is called, a drum or a pin keep or something, I'm going to do Merry Christmas on the top, or Merry on the top, Christmas on the bottom, with this in the middle. So it'll be more like a square. So I'm kind of customizing it, have it kind of my own size. But this is definitely one of my 2022 no new starts, because it was a 2021 new start, and I really, really, really wanted to just work on that all the way through. That's the only bad thing about starting all those things, is then I might lose some of my momentum. Because, you know, Christmas is over. But the colors of this are so pretty, and they're not just Christmas. Like, I pulled in some purple in here, and I've got the blues. So since it's not just like a red and green, a very Christmas tree type of a situation, and it's more just a season, I think I'll be okay with that. The next thing is I talked about this is in my own bag, January calendar crates from Stitching with the Housewives. I was feeling really bad because I only had 2 completed of the calendar crates, and then I realized it started in July. So I did July and August, and November through December I was out with not feeling well, so it only makes sense that I don't have September, October, November, December, right? Because I would have started September. So I'm skipping to January. I'll go back. This is on my list. So like I said, once this is done, I believe I'm able to start, and I'll have to double check and make sure that is correct. I hope that's correct, but I'll be able to start the next one in the series of this. And I'm not picking up any of my other older WIPs unless I put it on my 22 and 22 board. I am not used to being this restricted, but I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody will let me know. But I have to get this one finished first, right? And I really hope that's true, because I really, really wanted to, and I probably should have just started the February on this as well, because I think I'm going to do it on the black chalkboard, but I wasn't quite sure. I am loving this. This is called Shadow. It's a 28 count Lugana from Picture This Plus. Now, the chalkboard black I struggled with, but this I do not seem to have a problem with. So I already got the small. Like I said, for me, this is like a finish, because this is sweater weather. This is my last finish for 2021. I shared that in the last video. I'll be finishing it the way I've done my other calendar crates. But it's on the same piece of fabric with the same pattern from the same company. It's going to be displayed together, so it is like the same piece. This is the progress I have so far on my calendar crate January, the large one. So if you are in the No New Starts challenge, this is what I stitched to get my ride. If you're on the, this is what I was doing to take the picture, because it's on the same, there we go. It's on the same piece of fabric. And like I said, I may just keep going and do the February one on this piece of fabric, which will turn it into a bigger piece, but I mean, it's all kind of connected. And it is, like, it's on the same, if I read that right, it's on the same piece of fabric. And if I'm wrong, I can still follow. I mean, I'll be, if I am wrong and I do something wrong, you can get kicked out of the group, but I can still follow it just on my own and not be eligible for any of their prizes or anything, which is not why I'm doing it anyways. I'm doing it just to have the challenge of it and changing things up just a bit. I think I will also, for WIPGO, at least for now, I'm just going to plug things in each month. And so I'm going to plug in the January calendar crates and one other project, and I am thinking it will be my last one here, because my last one here is something I am going to putting a lot of stitches in for the road trip challenge. This one is my November sampler of the month. It is halfway done, almost halfway done. I'm just about down to the house, and then it will repeat on the bottom there. So I'm claiming this because I want to get this whole series done, and I hope that I am correct in how I interpreted that. If not, I have to do all of my WIPs and get it down below 22 before I can work on the rest of the series. So that is another option, but not one that I necessarily want to do. So we'll see when I figure out. I have questions. This I have wanted to start since before I got it in my hot little hands last Christmas, and I never did start it. It's a whole series. And I'm starting with Christmas Eve. It's by Hands On Design, and it's the White Christmas series. So my plan is, I don't know if I have enough. I'm hoping I have enough. My plan is to stitch it all on one piece, but they're going to be finished differently. So I may cut it off as I finish each one. Or I may just keep going on the same piece of fabric. This is called Cobblestone. It's a 28 count Lugana from Color and Cotton. Is it not perfect? I mean, this lighting is not perfect, but I love this so much. And my husband really, he says, I think this is my favorite piece you've done. So I think he's really going to like this series. So if I'm not allowed to start unless it's on the same piece of fabric, I will continue on the series. Definitely on that one I can keep doing. What are you doing?
Enjoying.
I just looked over. My husband was standing at the door, which is windows, looking at me. I'm all embarrassed. It's one thing to talk to the camera by myself. It's a whole nother thing to know that people are watching. All right, my last start, my New Year's Eve start. I think it was New Year's Eve. I wanted to start this for Christmas Eve last year, or Christmas Day last year. And I got it, and then I didn't have any fabric that I could use because the colors were so light and so different. The colors that came in this. Excuse me. So I ordered the floss, silk floss from Victoria Clayton. And she has this kit put together, which I got the whole kit, all of these little spools of thread. And the colors match the colors you see in the picture so much better than the colors that I've got some of the overdyed. I don't know if I have all of them or not, but those colors just, some of them weren't quite right. So it took me about a year to find the right fabric, the right flosses. So I'll show you the 3 I've started with. It's kind of a mess right now. I need to find a way to kind of store these in my bag, but this is the green. It is such a pretty green. I am tempted to just order another one of these sets. I'm a little bit nervous about not having enough because it's charted for 36 count and I'm doing it over 1, and I'm doing it 32 count over 2, so might not be enough to do it all. This is one of the darker rose colors, and this is one of the pinks. It is so pretty, you guys. I love, 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 love it so far. I am so happy I went with, you can see the colors on there. I am so happy I went with the Vicky Clayton. I'm thinking I might just order another set so that I have it. Look at those colors. Oh, and I can see why everybody raves about them. The silk glides through. And some of the other silks I have tried, as you pull it through your fabric, it kind of gets fuzzy or it frays at the end. This does not do that. It stays smooth and silky, but it's not like that sulky thread, that rayon thread I was using before that was just too silky and fine and falling out. This is the perfect in between. I am loving it. Love it. Love it. So that is my final WIP. This is my biggest WIP. This is, so in the No New Starts road trip, you have to stitch, you don't have to, but if you want to get a passport, so you have to pay at every stop, you have to stitch a certain amount of stitches. And so this is, and it has to be all in one piece now that it is January. Before December 31st, you could do it on multiple pieces. I wasn't in that group. I didn't know how to find it. I'm telling you, I'm a slow learner, it feels like, with this group. Did I say this is by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread? This is Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread. So anyways, you need a ton of stitches in order to get your passport. It has to be on the same piece. So I chose this big piece. So I'll be working on it probably a little bit each day because you can't double dip. It doesn't go with anything else. And I think now that I'm starting to get into this group, I'm starting to understand. Still really confused, but starting to understand what Dena, the half stitch, cross stitch, I think is her Flosstube channel, what she was saying about meeting these goals and challenges, because you're trying to meet the goal to get a prize, or even just like they give you pictures you put into your album to show that you've met those goals or those milestones, there's mile markers. And so I am like all for that. Just, it's just something simple, but it's motivating to get to that next step. Those are my 2021 and before WIPs. Wish me luck as I go into the new year. My goal, my plan going forward, I shared with you the progress on these WIPs that I'll be doing, as well as WIPGO, but I plan on starting my regular videos again in a week. So today is Monday, January 3rd, 2022. I didn't say that in the very beginning, but I don't know, not sure which day I'll be filming my Flosstubes on, but it'll be not before next Friday. It has to be something to actually show you, but sometime probably next week I will film another video or have another video out for you. That's my goal. And start doing my weekly videos, and it'll be kind of the same content, except I won't have as many new starts, obviously, but you can see I had 17 new starts in what, a week? Yeah, a week and a day. I'm gonna have, no, a week. I had 17 new starts in a week, so I have a lot of things that barely have anything on it, so it'll be like a new start. With the exception, like I said, if I'm able to add in my series in that format. So that'll be the thing that's changing going forward. And if I don't like it, I don't have to do it. I'm not married to it. If I do like it, it seems like a lot of fun once I get it figured out. It seems like a really motivating challenge to get a lot done. My second goal is to get 22 FFOs in 22 and to get 12, to get up to the point, it'll be a while, get up to the point where I am in my sewing room at least once a week. I do want to get 12 project bags because I obviously have more projects than project bags. So that'll be the first thing I work on. But I also want to get back to some of my quilting and just regular sewing. In 2022, I have really missed it since we got the Huskies. And it's something that now that they're kind of getting older and able to be in the house other places more, and they've kind of got a routine and they can be outside, I need to get that sewing room cleaned up so I can just be in there when they're outside or taking their nap or whatever. I had to do a lot more watching of them in 2020 and 2021 until our fence was repaired and while they were just little puppies. But now that I have a little more time, my goal would be to get back in there. So I don't know. I hope that by being a part of the No New Starts challenge, I will still have a lot of content to share with you here, while also getting some projects done in my sewing room. On top of that, it would be nice to get back to some of my card making. I kind of want to do all the things now that I'm starting to feel better, but we'll see where that goes. If what I sew is relevant to cross stitch, I will share it here. I don't know if I'll share it. Otherwise, it would just be if you guys wanted to see it. So those are my WIPs. If you have done a WIP parade, will you please let me know in the comments down below so I can check out your WIPs? If you are a part of the No New Starts or WIPGO, let me know that too. Let me know if you're in the road trip on the No New Starts. If you're doing WIPGO 2022, let me know which projects are the first. She already called the first 2 numbers last week. And so I'm pretty sure mine are going to be the Winter Rose Manor and the January calendar crates, because I've already started working on those 2 WIPs and I really want to get them a lot further this month. So at least for January, I'll be just working on those 2. I don't know. I have not set up my WIPGO for the whole year, and Jessie Marie Does Stuff is the one who put on WIPGO. She's very flexible, so just everybody kind of does what they want to do for themselves. They're not doing prizes or anything, I think, this year. So I did meet all my goals last year. It really did help keep me on track, but I also found myself frustrated when numbers were called out of season and I didn't really enjoy working on it, and then I didn't enjoy that piece as much. So that's the one thing that I am thinking about changing going forward, either having things that are not seasonal on my WIPGO board, or like I'm going to do at the very start, just plugging them in. She'll call the numbers and I'll plug what I want to do and not have it be quite so random. So my voice is gone. I love you guys. I'm so glad I'm able to do 3 floss tubes now. I haven't been keeping track of the numbers, so I don't know what number I'm on. I may just start numbering again. I may go back and number the other ones. I haven't decided. But I do plan on going back to my regularly scheduled floss tubes very soon. Happy New Year again, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.